The world we live in is changing fast. Every day, we are becoming more globally connected, developing technologies and systems, and dealing with new opportunities and challenges. The world today looks very different to 20 years ago, and it is constantly evolving. Change, complexity, and uncertainty are a normal part of life. From the way we communicate, to the types of jobs we have, to the way we think about our identities and societies. Education plays a very important role in this fast-changing world. Meet Miss Naledi Matlala, a grade 1 teacher.
I love my job so much, but I constantly worry about whether I am doing enough to prepare my young learners for the future. They are exposed to so much information every day. They are able to interact with knowledge and people from all around the world through the internet. How can I teach them to navigate this world successfully? I've even heard that most jobs in the future will be jobs that don't even exist right now. How do I prepare my learners for this?
Teacher Naledi is not alone in her concern. She is right to be thinking about the kinds of skills and knowledge that young learners need for future success.
I believe that it is more important than ever to equip young learners with excellent literacy skills. I know this is important because if my learners can listen, speak, read and write with fluency, understanding and confidence, this gives them the foundational skills to learn anything. I am also sure that it is still important to equip my learners with mathematics skills and knowledge. And I think it is good for young children to learn some content knowledge about their world. But this is not enough. I know there are other things that my learners need to develop in order to succeed in this new world.
The development of competencies for a fast-changing world can be developed together with subject knowledge. Together, they can form one integrated program. Let's see how Teacher Naledi does this by implementing a structured literacy program that develops listening and speaking, phonemic awareness and phonics, handwriting, group-guided reading and paired reading, shared reading, and writing skills.
I follow the same routine every week and I use the same methodologies over and over. This allows me to deliver the lessons in an expert way. The structure and methodologies of my literacy program lead to the development of excellent literacy skills.
So, literacy skills are important. But what else do we need to factor into a child's education? As we move into an uncertain future, we need our children to develop the competencies that will ensure they are creative and critical thinkers, leaders, entrepreneurial thinkers, lifelong learners, and socially responsible citizens. In this fast-paced world, understanding and developing these competencies cannot be left to chance. It has become a very important part of every teacher's responsibility to deliberately develop these skills. We use 3 broad categories for the competencies that we must strive to develop in our learners. The first set of competencies are skills, how we use what we know. There are 4 sets of skills that we must guide our children to develop: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. The second set of competencies relate to character, how we behave and engage with the world. There are 6 character traits that we must aim to develop: mindfulness, curiosity, courage, resilience, ethics, and leadership. The third set of competencies relate to meta-learning, how we reflect and adapt. There are two kinds of meta-learning that we must aim to develop: metacognition and growth mindset. In this learning program, we will show teachers how to develop both the traditional skills required for literacy and some of the competencies required for a changing world. These two skill sets, literacy and competencies for a changing world, are not taught separately. They work together every day so that children develop the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes that they need for success. In this series, we examine some of the competencies for a changing world at an appropriate level for young learners. We will also show you how these competencies can be developed through your everyday teaching of literacy. For example, we may show you how creativity is developed in a writing lesson by having students use their imagination to come up with their own ideas for the writing tasks. Or we may show you how collaboration is developed in a discussion lesson. We will also show you that these competencies are developed in young learners through routine and repetition, by doing the same activities over and over again. Let's recap the main points we have covered. The world is changing fast. Education must change with it. Literacy skills are more important than ever. In addition, we must explicitly teach and develop competencies for a changing world. There are three kinds of competencies: skills, what we do with what we know; character, how we behave and engage with the world; and meta-learning, how we reflect and adapt. The skills that we must help learners develop are creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, also known as the 4 C's. The character traits that we must help learners develop are mindfulness, curiosity, courage, resilience, ethics, and leadership. The meta-learning that we must help learners develop are metacognition and growth mindset. Literacy and competencies can work together and strengthen each other, so that learners are equipped with all the tools they need to navigate a fast-changing world.
At first, I thought that teaching literacy and competencies sounded like a lot of extra work. But actually, I soon realized that these competencies are embedded in the language lesson plans. I know that I am now teaching my learners literacy skills and preparing them for the future at the same time.